What's up, guys? So it is March 5th, Sunday morning, and we got a lot of work done in the garden yesterday. So we do have some updates to show you real quick, and I'm gonna go ahead and turn the camera around so we can talk about it. I had to get in the shade so I could see you. Okay, here we are at the garden. I'll do a quick overview of what it looks like. We've been working hard. I've been having my son help me, which I'm very fortunate about because that makes the work go fast. So we've actually got a lot accomplished about our list of goals that we had last week in the garden and the goals that we've been having are finally coming to fruition. So we got some squash in the ground, we got some corn in the ground, we got some beans in the ground. So let's start from the top. Alright, so right here in this bed, I haven't had planted anything, but these are my transplants. This empty one right here was my purple queen bush beans that I planted out. And then these are my variety of different tomatoes that I had in my greenhouse that I have been planting out. This is some sunflowers. I think those are mammoth sunflowers, and those are moonshines, and I think those are some, what are those? Mammoth, or moonshine, and lemon queens. And then right there is my mixture of watermelons and cantaloupes that I've got to figure out where I'm going to plant those. So right here, the broccoli bed is still there. I think I'm just going to go ahead and pull all that out. I do have a couple kales in there that are still doing good or doing better, but I think I'm going to go ahead and pull all the broccoli out and weed and see what else, what new I can plant in that bed. So here in the bean bed, we got some beans planted yesterday. We got some of the strike beans, some of the Cherokee wax beans, and a few of those are volunteers. And then in between, let me get over there. In between, I've got some sunflowers. Those are velvet queens that I planted in here. So just a variety of bush beans right there. And I'm going to go through here today. My goal is to take the purple potted pole beans and go ahead and direct seed them next to the fence. And I should have probably started soaking them before I started this video, but here's some more of the strike beans and the Cherokee wax beans, and then the rest of those on down the line are the purple potted pole beans. And then coming around, I just have some sunflowers planted periodically. And then this is what my herb bed is looking like that I direct seeded. I do have a couple nasturtiums that I transplanted, but for the most part, this is just lots of seeds that I planted. I think this is parsley. There's different kinds of flowers or medicinal herb flowers in there. I think those are medicinal herb flowers. I believe that I planted chamomile, so those might be chamomile in there. And then we got a bunch of parsley, some cilantro growing on that end, and some carrots. So that is what the herb bed is looking like right now. And I'm going to go ahead and transplant some basil into here too. So the bed next to it is my greens bed. Still pulling out of it. I have a couple of cabbages in here that are still going. I don't know if this one that the chickens got a hold to is going to make it, but we got some broccoli and some bok choy going to seed in here, and then 2 lovely dinosaur kales. And then here in my tires, I've got some Azuna that's getting better and happier. We've got some sugar magnolia peas and 3 cucumbers, and I think those are the green dragon cucumbers. I had a wasp come at me. And then here's some more peas in this tire. And then I planted a couple of radishes down there that are coming up. And then in this bed here, this is just the celery. And there's some couple of greens. That's all radishes right there. There's some carrots on the side, and these bok choys here, which you can see I've been hacking on these bok choys this morning for greens. And then coming around to this little area, this is where I have my carrots. They're still coming along. And then there's some peas, my collards, and then back here in this back, still nothing in these 3 drawers. I'll probably fill those back up with peppers. I did get to pick some baby Swiss chard this morning, so those are coming along great. But I had a bunch of peppers, and you see there's a tomato right there. A bunch of peppers in my compost that I put in here, and they have all gone to seed. All those are little pepper seeds. And I did take a couple dozen of these out and transplant them into cells to grow them out as extra pepper starts. So we'll see if I end up doing that with more of them, because I can always give them away. So I did go ahead and scavenge some more bricks to finally finish this bed right here. So once I pull all the greens out in a month or two, I'll put some more soil in here and build it up some more. I got my Bonnie green bell peppers here, and then my kale, and then this is a cabbage that was in there. It was leaning the other way, but when I put that brick in there, it had to lean the opposite way. So this is some really good curly kale, and there's a mustard or 2 in there as well. And then in this tire, I still got that cabbage going, and I planted cucumbers. And let's see what kind of cucumbers I planted in there. Market More. So we got some Market More cucumbers in here. And then over here is the same. I still got my broccoli and my red cabbages. And these cabbages are getting huge, and they're just starting to make a spiral in the center to make a cabbage. And then in here, back here in the back, I still have that one volunteer carrot. And then I got getting caved in on the side. I need to fix that. I planted an extra patty pan squash in here because I had so many that came up. So that's that bed. And this bed, I just planted peas. These are sugar snap, a couple of sugar snap peas mixed in with some little marvel peas. And then this bed is still empty. That bed back there is still empty. And this bed right here is exploding with all my greens, which I picked a bunch in here today. I need to weed that little patch right there. But all those are Savannah mustard. And then there's some bok choy that are going to flower. All these mizunas and kales and everything are just exploding in here and getting so big. And then I still got my garlic, and I got carrots coming up in the back. So that is my greens slash garlic slash carrot bed going on there. But I've still got to clean out this whole entire bed and get it planted. And then I still haven't planted any peppers in here. So moving along. Still got the broccoli in this bed right here, and I cannot keep up with this broccoli. It blooms. I mean, it comes out and it goes to flower so fast because it's been so hot. So I just pick a few here and there, and then try to cut it back to see if I can catch a few more side shoots. And then I got my peppers right here. These are jalapenos. And then underneath this row cover, so I have one of my row covers that I bought off Amazon, a row cover kit in here. And then I have, and all this was a bunch of poles that you could add, make them as big as you wanted to, like tent stakes. And I just did a bigger one in the middle and smaller ones on the end. And these are zucchini in here. And I don't know how much you'll be. There's a volunteer tomato or potato that I let go, But that's about how big they are right now. So they are growing so fast under this row cover. So there's zucchini and maybe a couple of few yellow squash in there too. And then this bed is basically still the same. This radish is flowering so pretty with these purple flowers. I'm just letting it do its thing. This Mizuna is going to flower with all these yellow flowers, and I'm just letting it. Did pick a few of my radishes for breakfast this morning. Still have some in here. Still have some greens and some onions. And then over here, I just planted 2 extra Peter Pan squash in here that I had. So in this next one, I have some more. I believe I have more Peter Pan squash in here. Or I got yellow squash in here. So that's what these are looking like. That's how big they are. They've grown so much since I put them in here. Now let's see what this is. Early yellow, straight. So this might be a yellow squash bed. All these might be yellow squash. So that is squash bed number 2. We got a yellow squash and zucchini. Okay, and then this bed right here, right in the middle, I've got my transplants, but on the edges of it, I haven't covered it up yet, but these are the patty pan squash. And then in the corner, I had one die, so I popped in a slick pick yellow squash right there. And then over here, I just got my cabbages and broccolis still going in here. Got them covered up with my netting. And then over here, these are just my tomatoes and stuff from Hoss. And then I got my peaches and cream and silver queen corn, which I overplanted. Now I have to figure out where I'm going to plant these at, because I planted my whole bed that I had planned on planting, and I only used half a tray of corn, and now I have a whole tray plus probably 20 more plants right there. So that's a dilemma. I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to plant the rest of the corn. And then I still have my cabbages struggling along right here, and a collard, and then all these lettuces I went to seed, and all these are radishes. And so this whole bed needs to be cleaned out, and I may just plant my my watermelons and stuff right there. We'll have to see. And then right here is my butter crunch lettuce that I planted that is coming along beautifully. Still got my onions in there. And then this is how this little green microgreen bed is coming. I have the bok choys in there and a couple of kale, and they are looking beautiful. And then this bed right here, I went ahead and did what we talked about last time, which is shortening it up a little bit and then adding another layer. So that bed has been updated, and it's the way that I want it to be right now. I got more clearance through here to walk, and I got a higher level on it. So that's one of the beds that we modified in the past week or so. And also that greens bed right there, we went ahead and pulled it up another layer. So that was modified as well. And once I get all the greens pulled out, I'll add more dirt and soil to the top to build it up some more. And then right here, so this was a chicken casualty. I had not clipped wings this spring, and none of my last year's pullets that I hatched had ever had their wings clipped, and I had one in particular that was flying over here. And so I lost my bed that had my turnips and other greens in radicchio and everything like that. So I'll just replant that with beans. Still got my cabbages and collards in this bed. This bed was heavily raked over, which it was nothing but compost and volunteer potatoes anyways. So I'm happy that they played in that bed a lot, but I am going to clear that out and figure out what I'm going to plant there. Right here is some bush beans, and I think this is some yellow wax bush beans and some of those borlotti beans. And I would like to plant my watermelons right here in this bed, but this bed does not get hit by the sprinkler. So I would have to water it, make sure I watered it a lot. So I'm thinking about putting in teeing off my water spigot in here. And because I got about 40% of my garden that doesn't get water. And that would be these, all these through here. That one gets hit a little bit on that end. But the main ones all the way through the middle right here don't get water. And I'm thinking about hooking up another water hose and trying to hook up the old watering system, sprinkler system that we had through here and put a timer on it. Because I have timers and I have hoses and I have sprinklers left over from other times before I had my other sprinkler system. So I need to do something to make sure I get water in all of my beds. So right here is the fantastic corn bed. So we have about 60 corn in this 4x10 bed, and 2/3 of it is peaches and cream, and these front ones I believe are Bantam corn. So that is what we got right there. And then on this side we still got the lettuces, which the chickens ate, that got in here ate a lot of my lettuce. But this is coming back. That you can tell is really ate down. And the onions and stuff like that. Just cleaned out that bed right there. So that stayed the same. This bed, if you remember last time we were talking about, I was brainstorming about what I can build right here to make another bed. So we just went in and put in a simple aluminum bed with scrap material like we had before and all the other places. And so that bed is ready to start being built up. And then right here I want to hack this up with whatever this tree is that's growing where my key lime used to be, and that real area right there I want to make all that into a little sunflower garden bed. My onions are still in here. They got kicked around a little bit by the chickens. And then here in the middle where I didn't have anything, we went ahead and used some scrap to close that in and connect these two long beds. So now I have more room to grow some more stuff, which is good because I still have half this bed with, I mean not half of it, but maybe 1/3 of it with onions in it. So that's taking up spot from my tomatoes. So I'll grow tomatoes probably right there at least. This bed I haven't cleaned out yet, and I might move this wherever I put my watermelons, a cantaloupe. I may move this arch trellis to wherever they go. If they go here, I might leave it there, but I just took it out of this bed when I was redoing this bed because we had to cultivate the whole thing and pull all those leaves, broke down leaves underneath, and add more black cow and fertilize and everything like that. So we just moved it out of the way, so it's just leaning right there. These two are still empty. These will have peppers in them. This one I cleaned out yesterday, and all of those right there are volunteer Mexican sunflowers. If you remember last year, I had one volunteer that took up this whole little corner right here, and I kept having to prune him back and tie him up. Well, I just started transplanting these out throughout the property because I want them on my property for the bees and everything, but I can't handle too much in my garden because they're so massive and they take up so much room and they block so much sun. So I'll leave one there and move the rest. So this is how my potatoes are looking. And then this bed, my old tomato bed, I have redone it and planted new tomatoes in there, and I'm going to come back. I still got a couple, which I can go ahead and pull this guy out, but I have a leaf lettuce over here that's still doing really good. It's not going to seed or anything, so I left him in there. But I'm going to go with that Merlot lettuce and plant in there. And then right here I have some more of those got some green dragon cucumbers and those Taylor Borlotti beans. Those bush, like cranberry looking bean are right here. And then right here is my very weedy potato bed. And then in the long bed, I left this end alone for now because it has my onions in it. And then I planted out some tomatoes, and they already got way bigger since I planted them in the ground yesterday. It did rain, so I got them in the ground before it rained, and of course they grew like 3 inches since then. And so right here we got this bed ready, so now all I got to do is finish filling it up and I can start planting in it. So that's exciting. Now it's 2 tiers. I got to go in here and get the weeds out of it, and then add some more compost and different stuff to get it going. This is starting to get more weeds in it again, the berry bed, but my berries are starting to put on green. So I need to finish getting this weeded. Still don't have anything in this little guy right here. It's got a lot of weed seed in it. But this, I may have showed you this last time where I broke this apart. So now today, one of my goals is, I got some old cardboard stuffed in the bottom. I'm going to put wood chips for my decomposing wood chip pile. And then I'm going to do some black velvet on top. And then we'll be ready to plant. Not sure what we're going to plant yet. My sprinkler that's over here is right over there. So it hits half of this bed and it hits my berries, but I don't think it goes that far. But that's definitely something that I'm brainstorming on, how to fix the parts of my garden that don't have sprinkler systems. So this one I still need to get some bricks for. And then my old little cucumber bed that I grew cucumbers in last year, just started cleaning it out. So it's still looking weedy, but overall we did a ton of work. We got a ton of things put in. We got our tomatoes put in, we got our beans put in, we got some corn put in. We got some flowers planted, and got a bunch of beds modified and ready to go. Put in extra beds because now we have that bed, and we have this whole bed that we can plant in that we didn't have before. So now I got to figure out where the rest of the corn's going to go, where the watermelons are going to go. I got to plant my new seeds, my vining summer squash seeds and winter squash seeds that I got from Baker Creek. And I'll probably try to at least amend the back of this bed and plant some tomatoes along the back. And that'll probably work out good. And then just weed these onions and leave them there, because mainly I keep these onions. I try to keep them until I start getting my tomatoes in May, because I use them for all my salsas and putting up to my tomatoes. So that's why I have so many onions, and that's what we're waiting to use them on. So that's how the garden is looking from this end. But I'm definitely thinking about that trellis and either using it for my spaghetti squash or using it for my watermelons and cucumbers. But I'm also really thinking about getting some more sprinklers in here on a timer, so that this middle section right here, this is the section that doesn't hardly get any water. So there's 3 zones that get water in here, and I really need a 4 or 5. So because, you know, I've been stuffing beds in every square inch that I can to maximize my growing space in this little garden. So that is where we are with the garden on March 5th, 2023. I'm hopeful of all the things that we're planting and all the stuff that we will get. And I will talk to you guys in a couple weeks when I have, or maybe in a week, maybe next Sunday, I'll be able to do another video and show you guys where we are, where we planted some things, and how things are advancing in the spring 2023 garden. All right, well, thanks for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day, and we'll talk to you later.